Royal bombshell. Princess Leonor's Denmark wedding changes everything. It was supposed to be a royal fairy tale. A perfect match, carefully planned, politically polished, and utterly predictable. But what happened in Denmark was none of that. Princess Leonor of Spain, the heir to the Spanish throne, has just changed everything. With one wedding, one moment, one decision, she has rewritten the story of Europe's royal future. And no one saw it coming. The royal world woke up to shockwaves. Princess Leonor's Denmark wedding changes everything. The headlines were explosive, but the truth was even more astonishing. What began as whispers of a royal romance has now become a global turning point. The wedding didn't just unite two young royals, it united two nations, two futures, and two entirely different visions of monarchy. At first, the world believed this would be another arranged match, carefully orchestrated by Europe's royal circles. But insiders say otherwise. This wasn't diplomacy, it was destiny. Behind palace doors, love had bloomed quietly, away from cameras, away from advisors, away from rules. And now, in the halls of Denmark's Frederiksberg Palace, that secret love has become history. The ceremony began under a soft winter sky. Snowflakes danced over the palace gardens as dignitaries arrived, kings, queens, ambassadors, and nobles from every corner of Europe. The scent of roses and sandalwood filled the air. Cameras flashed. But inside, the atmosphere was charged with something deeper: emotion, tension, awe. Everyone knew they were witnessing a moment that would be remembered for generations. Princess Leonor stood radiant, calm, and regal. Her gown was a symbol of her dual worlds, crafted in Spain, inspired by Denmark. The delicate embroidery told a story of unity and love, blending Spanish lace with Danish pearlwork. Her tiara, once worn by her grandmother, Queen Sophia, glittered under candlelight, a nod to her lineage. But her eyes told a different story. Not of duty, not of fear, but of choice. As the music swelled and she walked down the aisle, the crowd rose to their feet. Prince Christian of Denmark waited at the altar, his expression soft, proud, and unshakably in love. Their hands met, and in that instant, centuries of royal tradition shifted. Because this wasn't a union born from politics or protocol. It was love, pure and undeniable. And love, as history shows, is the one thing that can change everything. But to understand how we got here, we have to look back. Their connection began quietly. A meeting during a royal youth event years ago, two heirs, both raised under pressure, both learning to smile under the weight of expectation. What started as a friendship grew into something deeper during Leonor's studies abroad. Away from the rigid walls of Zarzuela Palace, she found freedom, and someone who understood what it meant to live under the world's watchful eye. By the time rumors reached Madrid, it was already too late. The bond between them was real, strong, and unbreakable. When the Spanish royal court learned that Leonor had chosen love over arrangement, debates erupted. Advisors warned her that such a match could upset political alliances. Others argued it could unite Europe in a way unseen since the old monarchic unions. And in the middle of it all stood Leonor, firm, poised, unwavering. When she finally told her parents, Queen Letizia was emotional but supportive. King Felipe, though cautious, saw something profound in his daughter's resolve. Spain's future queen was no longer the little girl he once guided. She was a leader, one who dared to make her own choices. And so, after months of quiet negotiation between the two courts, the decision was made. The wedding would take place in Denmark, symbolizing unity and respect between their nations. The ceremony itself was breathtaking. The royal families of Europe filled the grand hall, their jeweled crowns and brooches glittering under golden chandeliers. But the true light came from the couple themselves. When they exchanged vows, first in Spanish, then in Danish, the entire room fell silent. Their words were simple, heartfelt, and deeply human. "I choose you," Leonor whispered. "And I you," Christian replied. Those 4 words were enough to silence centuries of skepticism. And when they sealed it with a kiss, the applause thundered through the palace walls. Outside, crowds erupted in cheers. Bells rang across Copenhagen. For a moment, the world forgot politics, forgot power, forgot borders. All that existed was love. But beneath the romance lies something even bigger, a geopolitical shift with enormous implications. Two of Europe's most enduring monarchies are now intertwined. This isn't just about marriage, it's about legacy, diplomacy, and the very nature of monarchy itself. Analysts are already calling this the new royal era. Some say Leonor's choice could usher in a renaissance of monarchy, modern, human, emotionally intelligent. Others warn it could challenge centuries of independence between European crowns. The Spanish government has been cautious in its response. Official statements emphasize that Leonor remains the heir to Spain's throne. But privately, sources say discussions are underway about what this marriage means for her future role. Could she one day rule both Spain and Denmark? Or will she redefine what it means to be a queen in the 21st century, one who leads not by tradition but by connection? For Denmark, this union brings renewed visibility and strength to the younger generation of royals. Prince Christian, long admired for his humility and sense of duty, now finds himself at the heart of a European transformation. Together, he and Leonor represent something the world hasn't seen in decades, two royal heirs united not by politics but by passion and shared purpose. Even within the walls of the British palace, whispers have begun. Some say King Charles himself has privately expressed admiration for Leonor's courage, calling it a turning point in royal evolution. The younger royals across Europe, like Princess Ingrid of Norway and Princess Estelle of Sweden, have praised Leonor's independence as a symbol of hope for modern royalty. But the most moving reactions came from the people. Across Spain and Denmark, citizens gathered in the streets, waving flags and holding photos of the couple. Spanish crowds chanted her name with pride, Viva Leonor, while Danish fans celebrated her as the people's princess. Social media lit up with messages calling her the bridge between nations, the queen who dared to love. Still, not everyone is celebrating. Behind the polished smiles of the elite, there's unease. Some royal insiders worry that Leonor's emotional authenticity could disrupt the traditional balance of royal diplomacy. Others fear it sets a precedent, where heirs choose personal happiness over strategic marriages. But perhaps that's the point. Perhaps that's what this moment is meant to teach. Because Princess Leonor's wedding didn't just change royal history, it changed the conversation. It asked a question that monarchies have avoided for centuries: what is the crown worth, if it costs the heart? And in answering that, Leonor has become more than a princess. She has become a symbol of evolution. The wedding reception carried the same mix of joy and history. Under the golden ceiling of the palace ballroom, the newlyweds shared their first dance. The music was soft, a blend of Spanish guitar and Danish violin, a perfect harmony of two cultures, two hearts, one story. As they danced, guests watched with admiration, knowing they were witnessing the dawn of a new royal age. Later that night, Princess Leonor gave a speech. Her voice was calm, but her words struck deep. "We are not here to preserve history," she said. "We are here to create it." Together, the hall erupted in applause. Even her father, King Felipe, could be seen with tears in his eyes. When the newlyweds appeared on the palace balcony, the world held its breath. Below, thousands of people filled the square, waving Spanish and Danish flags side by side. The lights of 100 cameras shimmered like stars. Leonor and Christian smiled, waved, and looked at each other with quiet awe, aware that they had done something extraordinary. And as dawn broke over Copenhagen, the church bells echoed across the city. Europe had changed, not through war, not through politics, but through love. Princess Leonor's Denmark wedding is more than a royal event. It's a reminder that even in the most powerful institutions, humanity still matters. That tradition without heart is hollow. And that sometimes, the greatest revolutions begin not with rebellion, but with a vow. She didn't just say, "I do." She said, "I will." To love, to lead, to change everything. And that is how history begins anew, with a princess who dared to follow her heart and, in doing so, transformed the world around her.